The graph is called a parabola. It's that weird word there. Here is your parent function. It's like the vanilla ice cream. It's got a domain from left to right of all real numbers because it goes forever in both directions. The range is from the vertex and up. So y value is greater than or equal to 0. Here's your vertex at 0, 0, and you do have an axis of symmetry that goes down the middle, and it's symmetrical over that. It says increasing as x is less than 0, so it's, wait a second, that's not right. Increasing x less than 0. No, it's not. You see that? X greater than 0. Decreasing as x is less than 0. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Okay. Moving on. You see a table here. So we're going to look at the difference between linear and absolute value. A linear function has a constant rate of change. Quadratic function does not. Let's look at that. So here you see the table y equals x. That is your parent function for a linear because it has an exponent of 1. It's like y equals mx plus b. So this guy is linear. And so now we're going to look at the table and we're going to try and figure out how the y values are changing. And you should see a constant rate of change in this first one. What is my y value? What are they doing? They're adding 1. And they do that again and again and again and again. So this is an example of a constant rate of change. So constant rate of change here. You see plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. Okay. Your next one, this is a quadratic, so it's got an exponent of 2. And we are going to look at our y values. And I'm going to let you kind of do that with your table. On this one, it starts out going minus 5. It doesn't keep doing that. Can you please figure out how the y values are changing here? Yeah? It's not constant, is it? No. It's not constant. Because you see the change between the y values is changing. But go ahead and check it one more time for me. Or maybe look at your y values. There's a pattern between those. What's the change between the change? It adds 2. What's the change between -3 and -1? Plus 2. Oh, shoot. Okay. So this is something that's unique about a quadratic. If you check it twice, it ends up being like a constant. The change is I don't know how to say that. The change between the change is constant. So it does have a pattern because it's adding. Kind of like adding 2 more each time. This one gets you a constant pattern. I don't know how to say that. Not a constant, consistent pattern. It's not a constant rate of change though, okay? This will happen every single time. It's adding 2 more every time. And that is what's making it get taller and taller and makes it curved because your change is getting larger and larger every single time. Maybe I should say that. Okay, you can flip the next page when you're ready. Does this open up or down? It opens down because it's been reflected, the negative in front. So it opens down. And now we want the vertex. It would go left 1, down 3. So you change the sign of the 1. And it goes -1. And it goes down 3. So that's my vertex, H and K. Just like it was with your absolute value, it's the same kind of stuff here. So with your table, can you talk about number 2? Which way is it open? And what's the vertex? Number 2. Okay, do you see a negative out in front? No. So is it open up or down? Up, yeah. It stays the opening up unless you have a negative. So it opens up. And your vertex is at, Brody, what do you have?
4, 7.
Perfect. Onward. Number 3, can you talk to your table about number 3? All right. On number 3, does it open up or down? It opens up because it's positive. And McKenna, can you give me the vertex? Did it go up or down? No. So where would it still be? Yeah, so it'd still be at 0. So it's like you have a +0 at the end here because it didn't go up or down, okay? So it only went to the right. It did not go up or down. It's still at 0. Number 4. Talk to your table. Which way does it open, guys? Down. Okay, and the vertex is kind of a tricky one. This +1 at the end, how does that move it? Up. So that means that you're dealing with a y value, okay? The x value would be what's in parentheses. So it didn't go left or right, so it should still be at 0, but it did get shifted up 1. So if you don't have a number in parentheses, it's still at 0. It just went up 1, but it is reflected. Okay, a couple reminders on domain and range. It's going to be like the same kind of thing you saw for absolute value. Domain is all real numbers, which is your reminder, your -infinity to +infinity. The range will change based on the location of the vertex. So if my vertex is a minimum, meaning that the parabola opens up and it's at the bottom, then my range goes from right here up, from that k value to infinity. So this is when the k is the y value of the vertex. Check your next one. You have, if it's a maximum, meaning that it's flipped this way, then my vertex is at the top, which is why it would then go from -infinity to k. Another way to say this would be like y values. This one will be greater than or equal to k. This one is y values less than or equal to k. Same thing as putting it in the brackets and parentheses and stuff. So look at, so we've got number 5. Can you please talk to your table? Which way does it open? Opens which way and what's the vertex? Discuss. You can also do that for number 6. Number 5, does it open up or down? Up, because there's no negative in front, so it's not been reflected. The vertex, let's see, it gets shifted left 1, down 5. My vertex is where, Audrey, what's my vertex? Yep. Okay, we're also going to do the domain and range. So we're going to draw a little picture. It opens up, so it looks like this, which means my vertex is right here, -1, -5. So to get my domain and range, domain is super boring because it's the same every single time. You might be happy about that though. The domain is all real numbers from left to right, meaning it goes on forever in both directions. The range, however, you need to think about. Range goes from lowest to highest. We want to look at the y value, -5. So it starts at -5, and it goes to where? Infinity and beyond. So -5 to infinity. So you can write that one of two ways. You could either do what we've been doing, like brackets at -5 to infinity. Or the other way to say it is y values greater than or equal to -5, meaning that all the y values are at -5 now. And this all real numbers, remember that's the same as -infinity to +infinity if you prefer to write it that way. On number 6, we want it to open which way? Down, you get a negative in front. And the vertex is where, Daniel? +4, 0. So draw you a little picture. Oh, he's so cute. Sad face though. So he's opening down. And then you have a vertex at the top. This time, domain is the same. What's my domain? All real numbers. Or if you prefer to say this, you can say -infinity to +infinity. The range is where you need to think. Make sure it goes lowest to highest. What's my low boundary? -infinity. And then it goes up and up and up. And where does it stop? Does it stop at 4 or at 0? 0, because you want the y values. The 4 is an x value, so up to 0. So that's why my range is, you could write it one of two ways. You could say, right, in parentheses, -infinity up to 0, bracket. Or it's the y values less than or equal to 0. Either way is great. Axis of symmetry. So if you see me write AOS, that's what I'm talking about. Of a parabola is a vertical line that divides the parabola into these mirror images. It passes through the vertex. So you see here, here's my axis of symmetry. It's got an equation of x equals h. So notice it's an equation of a line. Because it's a vertical line, not just a number. So I need to see you say like x equals 5 or x equals 2. Which way is it open and what's the vertex? I see a negative out in front, so which way is it open? Down. And the vertex is -3, 4. -3. All right. So when we go to graph parabolas, you are going to make a table. And basically anytime we graph in this class, you're going to make a table, okay? And we want to put the vertex in the middle. So here's my vertex, because it's in the center of the graph. Hopefully that makes sense. And what we want to do is we want to choose values around it that would surround it on a number line. So if you look back at your number line over here, if you need it, it means that these are 5 values you're choosing: -4, -5, -2, -1. So -2, -1, -4, -5. And it says to plug those values in. So I would look at my equation here, and I take my x value, and I just put it in what spot? If I have like -2, where would I put it in the equation? X, yeah? So I would say, okay, f of -2 is, and I'm taking that equation, -2 times -2 plus 3 squared plus 4. You could try and do this in your head, or you could type it all in a calculator. I know that -2 plus 3 is 1. 1 squared is 1. 1 times -2 is -2. -2 plus 4 is 2. So that would be how I could get my y value here. Because I plugged in, just so you see it, I took this x value and put it in that spot. And you just have to do it one more time because these should be the same because it's a mirror image. So f of, now we'll do -1, is equal to, we'll put it in the same spot for x, -2 times -1 plus 3 squared plus 4. And again, so you see it, I'm taking this x value and I'm putting it in that spot. You can type it all in a calculator. -1 plus 3 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times -2 is -8. -8 plus 4 is -4. And because it's a mirror image, it's going to be the same exact points on the other side as well. Wait, did I do something wrong? I was like, I knew something was wrong here. That's a +4, because otherwise this does not make sense. Okay, so the numbers I just got were right. I just wrote down a negative instead of positive there. Okay, then you would graph these 5 points.